To me personally, like me, I have no interest in doing what you're doing. I literally have zero interest, almost negative interest. I don't even go into it because, to be honest with you, I'm personally disgusted. I don't have any interest.
It's none of your business. It's none of your business.
Peace to the saints, you dig? We have Mr. Lucario here today, and we are going to chop up some high-level A1 top shelf Nobel laureate level game, you dig? And you might be wondering, Marquett, you never really invite anybody on the platform. Why him? For a couple reasons. Number one, I respect the game. And when you can find someone who's a peer and you can share knowledge and grow in knowledge, that's a beautiful thing. But also, I like the way the brother does business. He's a man of integrity. Every time I've ever engaged with him, nothing but a gentleman, nothing but respect. He even hit me like, hey, man, I'm in the studio early, ready to go. And I love that, man. That's a man living by values, and that's going to make you prosper. So I consider him a friend. That's why I brought him on, because I wanted to chop up some game. You heard me? I'm going to let you give your background for anybody who, for some strange reason, is not familiar with the game. Talk to them, let them know what you do.
Nah, man. First of all, I got to thank you for having me on here, man. I appreciate it, man. I see you grinding. You know what I'm saying? I see you a savage out here. You know what I'm saying? Like going hard in the paint. You know what I mean? And the first time I saw you was when you was doing that breakdown. I think of the 4 Horsemen video, or whatever. And I was like, yo, this dude knows exactly what he's talking about. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, we definitely gotta chop it up. But yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to the Saints. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You know, I'm Mr. Lucario. I'm a dating and life coach. I've been doing this for the past 13 years. You know what I'm saying? I coach men and women on the game. I coach people on how to really get exactly what they want out here in this game. And I just like to teach people things that's going to make them really, get where they need to go in life. Because when I was younger, man, there was a lot of stuff I wanted to know, and I was always searching for knowledge. And when I finally found some knowledge that really helped me out, it really took me to the next level. So I just want to pay it forward and, give back. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I do it,
That's a beautiful thing. And you know what? When you come on here, from now on, everybody come on here. I'm asking crazy questions. I'm asking deep questions. I'm Barbara Walters in this joint, man.
Let's do it.
So and I also, even if I already know the answer to something, I'm going to ask you anyways, being that the viewing public is here.
Right.
So my first thing when I came up, you know what? Actually, I didn't come across your videos. I came across your fans. They're like, hey, you need to mess with Mr. Lucario. And I'm over here like, this brother Italian? Like, what the hell is Mr. Lucario? Because I grew up around all black folks. I ain't never met nobody named Dante or Tyrone Lucario.
Right. Yeah, so my full name is Hashim Lucario Smith. So Lucario is actually my middle name. You know what I mean? So that middle name is actually from my mother's side of the family's last name. So that's my grandfather's last name on my mother's side of the family. And so I always thought Lucario sounded cool. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna have a pen name when I'm coming out with my books and stuff, I want to call myself Mr. Smith. Everybody got Smith. Right. So I was like, let me do the Lucario. So I was like, that sounds really cool. It sound really like, some smooth stuff. So I was like, that's what it's going to be. So I kind of, I just put that together as far as my thing. So a lot of people didn't know that was actually like in my real name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, let me just put that out there and as the the pen name to get it out. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, Saints, you have 2 masters of the game here.
Yes,
you
sir.
can send your questions via Cash App or PayPal, and I'll go through and you'll get my perspective, Mr. Lucario's perspective. As sometimes they may differ, they may be at odds, but you're going to get a breadth of experience. And anytime you have a situation, you want to diagnose it, you always want to get a second opinion. So this is going to be a beautiful thing. Thanks. And I don't want to share some things that, no matter how long you've been in the game, even Jordan had nights where he's shooting and he couldn't get the shot to go in, right?
Right.
My question for you is, and I know a lot of the Saints have the same question, which is when you're dealing with a female that you really like, you're like, dang, this girl's bad.
Right.
Oh, I want to take this down. You're excited about her for whatever reason. She's attractive. You think you're compatible. You're like, I might drop a seed in this girl.
Right.
How do you have any strategies for how to not come on too strong to a female?
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the thing. I always tell guys they got to figure out what the actual situation is with the girl. Meaning, that sometimes when you talk to women, right, there's certain women who have zero interest in you at all. Like there ain't nothing you could do, ain't nothing you could say, and it's a wrap. You understand? Like there's some girls that's actually like that, where ain't nothing you could do that and say that's gonna make it happen. So the first thing I tell guys is see if there's any type of interest. You understand what I'm saying? So it's better if she has high interest, meaning that she's really feeling you. But some girls, they might have medium interest, low interest, but there's still interest there. So you got to first see if there's interest. So if there is interest, then you could work with that, right? So the thing is, as far as coming on too strong, the thing is that it's usually going to seem like you're coming on too strong if you're not aware of the girl's interest in you. So if you could tell she's really feeling you, some girls, they feeling you so much that you could do whatever. And it's like, I'm ready now. I want to we could do whatever you say I'm going to do. You understand? Then you got some girls that they're like, he's all right. And so those girls, you can't really come on too strong at first because they're not really all the way feeling you yet. So this is where you got to know how to seduce. You got to know how to speak. You got to know how to flow with your words. And then that could get them to warm up to you to get to the level where they start to have high interest. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of it is really, having that practice. Because, for example, like I've seen some of your videos where you talk to some of these ladies and stuff, and it's like, how to go back and forth and talk. So you sort of feeling her out. You're like, okay, what is this girl about? What's she talking about? What's the vibe? And I think a lot of guys don't know how to check out the vibe, because once you see the vibe, you're like, okay, now I can see if this I should pursue and keep going, or let me just fall back and not waste my time and try to find, another chick that's going to be on point. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh, that's how I know you in this game. You heard me? Because a lot of people who are viewing who have a total of 0 bitches, they're viewing, I can tell by their comments that they never really been in this game.
Right.
I was talking to a blonde chick recently and a cat said, oh, you need to be more masculine. I found it funny. I'm like, because, just like everybody else, I love me a project bitch. Love me a hood rat chick. One that don't give up. But this is a white girl from the Midwest. You dig? There's a different vibe and a different flow that you're going to engage her with. In fact, a whole different set of language. There was one situation which I was talking to her. I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah for your man. And then she was like, oh, wow. Like, like you're, what do you mean? Like my man, like we just met. I was like, no, that's African-American slang.
Right.
Like your boy, your man, that's slang, bitch. So you really have to have a strong sense of who you're dealing with before you can properly lay down the game on them. So I think you're right about that in terms of the vibe.
That's facts.
Now, question for you. In this one, I'm getting away from, right? Is like, what about the long distance? I guess cats are on Tinder and they didn't set their Tinder distance to 500 miles and they didn't met a chick in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. What do you tell these guys?
Man, I say this, unless you planning on going out there or she planning on coming to see you, that it ain't really worth taking that time to do that. You understand? Like you got to find women in your area, find to where you can actually meet these girls. Cause like, I'm not big on flying chicks out. Like they can fly themselves out. Tell shorty to, get on that plane and come see you. You understand? Right. So if she want to fly out, that's on her. But the thing is that if you see a chick and, you match with some girl she thought, cause Tinder be doing that. They be getting you, I don't know what it is. They be trying to match you with girls like in Zimbabwe somewhere and freaking Queens or something. So now, unless you're coming through to New York or you going out there, it don't really make no sense. But what it is though, is that if in the event she's going to actually come see you or you was going to be able to see her, that's a good thing because now you could set something up for later on. So a lot of times if you're a dude who travels, I see you be traveling all the time. I seen you in like freaking, what was it, DR somewhere you was at? I seen the last, you know what I'm saying? So if you traveling, you could set it up to where, I'm going to be here in a week. So then now set your joint for that, hit up some girls. So as soon as you get there, you got like 5, 6, 7 girls waiting on you. So I've always told dudes that's like the easiest thing to do is like have it set up so when you touch down, you already got chicks waiting on you at the freaking airport, wherever, take you to do whatever and get it cracking. So I think that's a good thing as far as if you playing a game that way. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you there, especially in terms of that pre-planning. The master Sun Tzu writes that victory is to he who is superior in pre-engagement calculations, right? Which is to get that plan cooked up and make sure that the work is laid before you even touch down. And one thing I'll say is I had a gentleman had reached out to me. He said, hey, Quet, I'm in Missouri, man. and I had a chick who was in Springfield. I was in St. Louis. I paid for the girl to get a bus. She was supposed to take the bus all the way down. She never did it. I lost my money on the bus, and I was out here waiting for a whoop-de-whoop. Now, shout out to the ballers. I'm not saying that's a baller move, but shout out to the ballers who got chicks in different zip codes and country codes. You heard me?
Right.
But I just want to give you a little pro tip. If you're going to link up with a chick whom A, you've never met in person, or B, is far away, just like Mr. Lucario said, have her cover her own travel. Now, you might say, hey, love, you get your train, you get your flight, or you get that rental car. Once you touch down, I got you. But you got to take care of that, because if they end up flaking on you, you don't want to lose that money.
Facts.
Right? So, you know what I'm saying? So don't put that upfront investment because you don't know her like that.
Facts. And I would say at that point, like if she come through and everything is cool and you see she cooperative, and then let's say the next time, if you want, then you could probably set something up like that where you like, hey, come through, I'll pay for your shit or whatever, because at that point, there's interest. You understand what I'm saying? You know that she's actually going to come through because she came through before in that sense. Now, again, anything can happen where she could still flake, but it's at least a little bit more of a chance now than if you've never met her before. Because when you've never met a girl before, you don't know what the deal. You don't even know. She could be a catfish. This could be a dude you talking to online. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
you got to be careful. Get the FaceTime popping before you even get into that like extra stuff. You know what I'm saying?
In real life. Right. So my question for you is this big question in terms of the approach side.
Right.
And I feel like you had kind of touched on this earlier, because you said there's some girls, hey, you could spit the pristine Rolls Royce game and you ain't converting a damn thing.
Right.
Now, would you say that, it's all about shooting your shot, because out of 100 women, you just got to go knock on the door and see if they'll let you in? Sometimes it's not even the quality of the game. They didn't already sized you up based on your looks, your body, the way you talk, and circumstances. Like, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think the thing that guys got to understand is that everything in life is a numbers game. You understand what I'm saying? Everything in life, especially I know you already know when it comes to business, you making money or whatever, that's definitely a numbers game. You got to find the people that connect with your product or service in order to get that paper. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same concept with women. Even look at it like this. Let's say you have a favorite artist, right? Let's say Drake or Big Sean or Kendrick or whatever, rap artist or whatever, right? These dudes, they put out a video, that joint get maybe 10 million hits in the first week or something like that, right? Now, when the album drop, look at how many people buy the album. You understand? Maybe 100,000 per week. You know what I'm saying? So now what that means is they had to hit 10 million people on that video just to get 100,000, sales.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with dealing with women, is that you're going to have to interact, talk to, and holler at different women so that you can find the ones that you connect with and that connect with you. But the better your game is, though, the easier the numbers game is. So, for example, if a dude is like really weak at his game, he ain't got his mouthpiece is terrible. You understand? He's scared to go out there. If he goes and approaches 100 women, he might get one. You understand what I mean? Out of the 100. But if a dude has heavy, tight game, he knows how to speak to girls, he's confident, he could talk to 100 girls, and he probably could get 30 or 40 of them. You understand what I'm saying? Out of the 100. And that's because his game is a little bit more point. He's more comfortable with himself. But the thing is that it's still a numbers game. So that means that there was still 60 women who ain't want to mess with him. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is, a lot of times guys stop themselves because they scared of getting rejected, but rejection is part of the game. So I love when the rejection happens, because all the rejection to me shows is that I'm on the right track, because all that means is that I got to talk to another one or another one here, and then this could be the one that can make it happen. So a lot of times when dudes let rejection stop them from making anything happen, you're still stopping success. You can't get success without rejection. It's impossible. You see what I'm saying? There's always going to be something in the situation that is not going to be for you, in order for you to get to the part of the situation where the girl is for you. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. You can't let that fear of the girl saying no stop you. That's nothing. You see what I'm saying?
And you know what's trippy that a lot of folks online don't realize? They might be listening to you and say, oh, bruh's the dude. Like, he know how to talk that talk. You hear me? He pull up with that Brooklyn slang, and he done rolled out with all the hoes, or he looked like this, or he sound like this.
Right.
Not realizing that Drake is shooting shots and bricking too.
Exactly.
Like the most famous rich guy you've heard of is shooting up shots and somebody is Rodman swatting down them shots left and right, no man is 100% in the game. In fact, I'd even venture to say no man is even 70%. I don't think Drake could approach 10 women and get 7 out of 10. I don't think that can happen. But if you want 7 women, you approach 30. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be able to get that when the dust settles. One thing I can tell you, and this is almost like for the high value men out there, bruh, have you been losing hoes over this YouTube stuff? I feel like I done lost. I done lost so many hoes messing with this YouTube. Talk to me.
Yo, it's funny though. It's the thing. It's a couple of reasons. One, you're gonna lose chicks. You know the funny part. Let me say this. I think it's funny. You know that saying when they say you never lose women chasing money, but you money chasing women. I think that's incorrect. You definitely lose women chasing money, because if I'm on the paper chase and I'm doing a bunch of stuff, I'm definitely gonna lose some women because I ain't got no time for them right now. I ain't got no. You see what I mean? So a chick I've been dealing with, she gonna want to deal with me, but I'm like, yo, babe, I ain't got no time right now. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get on this work. I'm doing my stuff. So you definitely gonna lose women. But also on the flip side, I lost women from the YouTube stuff because, you know, they get on, they see the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? They see you, and this goes for any of you guys. You ain't even got to be on YouTube. The fact you're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, you could lose women just based off that because women are detectives, bruh. You understand what I'm saying? Find out everything they need to find out on you if they really trying to find it out. But the thing is, myself and you, Marquette, we're out there in the public eye. So it's easy for them to see what we doing. And then on top of that, because they see that we got game, they're like, oh, he's probably going to run his game on us. And he's going to, you know what I'm saying? So they always on that type of stuff. And that's the thing I got to tell the guys is that the better you get at game, sometimes it doesn't even necessarily mean you're going to even get certain women, because some women going to be intimidated by the fact that you a dude who got game. You feel what I'm saying? Intimidated by you because they're like, man, I can't get over on this dude. And that's what some women look at. That's why, like, some guys, they don't understand if they get a hot girl that hit them up in a DM, they'll be excited. But you got to ask yourself, am I the type of guy that hot girls be hitting me up in the DM and all of a sudden so you got to be like, wait, something don't seem right about that. Like, why is it all of a sudden this girl is hitting me up in the DM, but a guy who doesn't have game, he's just going to think, oh, this is amazing. I got this hot girl trying to get with me, but he don't know that he being finessed or fleeced because she saw that he got the bag or whatever it is. So you got to understand your position in the game, you know what I'm saying? Or the position you're in now in relation to how women are dealing with you. Because this is what happens. A woman, let's say, for example, you got a guy who runs into just by sheer circumstance. He went to an event, he's at a party, he knew somebody that knew somebody, and there was this bad chick that wanted to get with him, right? He's thinking, oh, snap, man, I got this bad chick, and because he's never had that bad chick before, he's extremely excited. You're like, man, this is the hottest girl I've ever been with. You start to fall in love with this woman because this is the hottest girl you ever been with, right? Now, what happens is that sometimes when those hot girls get with you, but you've never really had a hot girl before and you ain't got the type of gamer skills to get chicks like that, what happens is that chick is using that guy as the safety guy. So what the safety guy is, the guy a girl who's hot uses in between time when she got dumped by the alpha. You understand what I'm saying? So when my dude Marquette, exactly. So when Marquette tells a girl to kick rocks, she gonna go get the safe guy because that guy is safe. He's not gonna hurt her because he's praising her. He's putting her on a pedestal. And then if you're that type of guy, you're gonna make it to where, damn, I love this girl. And then when she dumps you for the next dude who she really wants, you're gonna feel a certain type of way. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be very careful about what happens in these situations and what's actually occurring. And you have to look at yourself and take an honest assessment and say, where am I at now? And is this thing that fell in my lap authentic? Is this hot girl that's trying to get with me authentic? Because this is how a lot of guys get fleeced. They don't realize that this random bad chick, she don't really want you. She's just using you for the time being. And I don't want you guys getting used out there and falling for the okie doke. And then you start feeling some type of way when she see to get with the next dude you know what I'm saying, that she really want. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? I really want to double down on what you're saying in that the aspect of the female using you, we're all liable for that. Yeah. And in fact, even if you're the guy, to most women, you'll at some point encounter a woman who, to her, you're not the guy.
Right, exactly.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, to her, you're not, like every other chick could think you're the guy, but to her, you're not the guy. You're the placeholder.
Right.
And so our position can change, but what shouldn't change is our ability to understand the game and to play as the MVP in the game. You hear me?
Right.
Like, I had a situation where there was this young lady, attractive chick, and I was coming at her with some real game, man, really trying to close the deal. Man, I took her and everybody she was with out to dinner just to, because she was supposed to be leaving. She was like, I'm here with my mom and my and so-and-so and my family. I was like, bring all of them, God damn it.
Right.
I'm trying to get some work done, you dig?
Right.
And, in her mind, she might have been thinking, oh, like we all get this free dinner, I'm winning. But what she didn't realize is I was a VIP guest of the restaurant, so my dinner was comped anyway.
Right.
I'm not paying a penny. And so this is she making her chess move, but I'm also making my chess move. And with this chick, when I was dealing with her for this weekend, that she was proximate, meaning close, she was very responsive on text. As long as she wanted something, she could get what she wanted in the moment. But then when she goes back to where she's from, then all of a sudden the text responses have dwindled. They're not timely.
Right.
Because she can't extract. And me having been in the game, I understand that, hey, it is what it is, which is why I tell gentlemen, you can't give any woman credit off the rip. You have to look at her as the other side of the chessboard, and she's coming at you to pull out what she could pull out, which will make you wise to try to pull out what you could pull out. So definitely push that envelope to see if you can convert it the first night or the second night, because no one ever loses the game for being too aggressive. You might get delayed. She might not let you smash the first night, push you off to the second night, but she's not going to take you out the game for being too aggressive. Only reason you get taken out the game is because she wasn't going to let you win no way.
Exactly. That's facts. That's real shit. That's real shit. And you know what's funny, because I actually talk about this one of my people's Eddie Fuse in my documentary Game Kings. That's the poster right there in the back for you guys to see. But basically he was basically saying something to the effect of what the way that the game is played is that, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that women are trying to get as much of a man's time, attention, and energy without giving up the booty. And men are trying to get the booty without giving up as much time and attention and energy. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. So that's really like the main thing that happens in this game is that, so you trying to get to the chick and get what you want out the situation without having to put up too much time or money or energy. And that woman is trying to extract as much attention, time, energy, validation from you without having to give up the booty. You see what I'm saying? Because then that feeds her ego. She's like, look at how I was able to get this guy to give me all this stuff without having. You're right, exactly. And then if you were able to like smash a chick on the first night, you're like, man, I got to smash the chick. I ain't had to go take her out no dinners. I ain't had to do pay for nothing. And you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And the thing is this, when you're a guy who's well versed in the game, you're able not only to get as much sex as you want, you're able to get women to do other things outside of sex, which I even think is the more like valuable situation, you know what I'm saying, when it comes down to it in the long run, because every girl has a vagina, you see what I'm saying? But if a girl's willing to cooperate with you on another level for other things that you may require of her, I feel like that's when your game is extra tight, because what's happening is that she's going above and beyond what she would normally do, and that takes more skill on her part and more effort and energy on her part, because it don't take nothing for her to lay down naked and open her legs. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Any woman could do that. But if you telling her, hey, listen, I'm gonna need you to do A, B, and C. I'm gonna need you to get this for me. I'm gonna need you to come through and fucking fold my laundry, cook, clean, work on this thing I need you to do. And if she's actually, cooperating and making that happen, that's when a woman is really, really feeling you and respects you as a man, because she's like, I'm willing to go above and beyond to just be in this man's life. You understand what I'm saying? To stay around him, to soak up his energy, to be around this. You see what I'm saying? And that's a whole nother level of the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, that's high level playerism, because you're getting the full worth out of the woman.
Exactly.
You're not getting the least of the value, which is the vagina. And happy birthday. It's your birthday tomorrow. That's what one of the saints said.
Tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm going to be 40 years old. I'm an old man, people. I see the grace.
Birthday, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey man, if a brother ages with wisdom and wealth, then you
Facts,
just get younger.
facts,
You just get younger, man.
right.
In fact, I was talking to my partner out here, and he was dealing with this older thing, a Puma, you might call her.
Right.
And I was letting him know, I was saying, hey man, she's almost my age, and I consider that ancient in female years because I'm still dealing with this 21-year-old fresh water. You dig? I was like, so she needs to start making some real decisions in her life so that she can secure a mate who's going to stick with her. Because if you find a female, I'm convinced that's over age 25 and attractive, that's a red flag. Because it's a red flag because most males will pursue a woman merely based on her attractiveness. And they'll put up with a lot of BS and a lot of disagreeableness.
Right.
Because she's attractive. So if she's managed to age and be attractive and is single, meaning available, aka unwanted, that lets you know there's a reason no one has captured her to hold on to her for themselves. So you should be worried and anxious. And what you experience when you meet a woman like that, you're meeting her representative for the first couple weeks. And then you find out what's underneath. When you peel the layers of that onion, you want to cry because that's not the woman you want to die with, right?
That's crazy because, what's funny is that what a lot of guys don't understand is that, women are very, like, in general, susceptible to the energy of a man. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times when you meet a woman, right, and let's say she's hard to like, because this is the thing, women are going to act different to different guys, right? So you might meet a woman, right? You know what I'm saying? You might meet a woman and she's going to be real, like, nice and cooperative to you, and to another guy, she's going to give him hell. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But in general, what happened is that if a woman, and this is the thing, if a woman has been with, men who were, let's say, upstanding citizen type of dudes, guys who were on point, guys who were just a decent dude. You understand what I'm saying? And let's say she's been with like 6 dudes or whatever, right? And all 6 of those guys were just on point, cool and everything. When she gets to you, most likely she's also going to be pleasant and chill and, to be around because that's the energy she's been around. Now, if she's been with a guy who or a bunch of guys who was on some BS, you understand what I'm saying? That's gonna taint her, and a lot of times that'll make her even more like very like hardened in her spirit and in her heart. So when she gets to you, you understand what I'm saying? That's the type of energy you might get. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times you're thinking, man, this girl, she a bitch, whatever. But sometimes it's right. Sometimes it's just she's that way because of her past situations. This is why when you want to date with a girl or you talking with chick, why part of the thing about having a good mouthpiece is not only to say certain things to create sexual tension or whatever, but you also want to be able to vet her to see what type of woman am I talking to? Right. What has been going on in this woman's life to say, okay, should I even have her in my circle? Because trust me, look, Marquett, you a businessman. You understand what I'm saying? You got a lot that's going on, and therefore what that means is you have a lot to lose. And so I always tell guys, listen, all of us should be actually as men doing the things that we need to do in life to level up and do everything like that. So you have a lot to lose. And all you guys watching, y'all should have a lot to lose, meaning you have something that y'all built and something that you're working on that's going to be something great. And, as you're doing it. So you don't ever want to be in a situation where you're dealing with a girl who brings that sort of type of energy to you, to where that could be a negative force in your life that could really throw things off if you're not careful. Now, this is another side of the spectrum. If you're a guy who's really on point, confident, understands himself, understands his value, understands that you're that type of dude, what happens is that your influence can be so strong that no matter how much a chick is, in her mind, right? If you're able to get her mind and have her follow your lead, you understand what I'm saying? And have her acquiesce to what you're about, then now she becomes the type of woman you need her to be to deal with you. Now, there are some women who are so far gone that they're just, you can't do nothing. You gotta knock in the streets because they're just totally done. But there are
you catch the fish and throw it back.
exactly. But you gotta look to see if a woman's coachable. You understand what I'm saying? Because if she's coachable, you're like, okay, I could work with this chick, even though she had some crazy stuff going on in the past, and she's all, I see that she's willing to listen and to work with me so that she's coachable so that we can actually build something if this is the type of chick you want to bring into your cipher. But again, you still have to have awareness. And I always tell guys this is that sometimes what happens is the thirstiness of being so concerned with vagina clouds your mind from seeing the red flags that you need to see right before you really make moves to certain women. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
There's so much game that you just shared that we have to unpack. Number one, you talked about the female who arrives to you, looks like a perfectly good woman, but underneath there may be foul material because she's been shat on so many times.
Right.
And she is not quite healed from that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so right in as much as when a woman has been victim of a tyrannical man, it impacts her such that you could say something to her that you said to another woman in the exact same words, but her interpretation will be different because she's interpreting it based on the lens of fear and her identifying you with her previous victimizer.
Preach.
For example, you heard me. I had a young lady, and she had told me on the second night I saw her, she said, my last guy used to punch the walls by me and just do extremely violent things. Now, she didn't say that he ever punched her or physically abused her, but I think you and I can put 1 and 1 and make 2, right? That she just wanted to ease into the fact that there was some physical abuse there. Right. And I took that in, but I didn't take it in enough because a little bit down the road, like a week down the road, I had told her, I was like, she's asked me, what do I expect? I said, well, I expect you to want to be my property. I expect that you would rather be my trash than another man's treasure, that you should get to that level of dedication. And she was like, your property? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, you don't own, and she lost it. Like, you don't own me, and you want to control me, and all these things, which is funny because as a super player, I don't want to control any of these hoes. You heard me? I treat them like a boomerang. I toss them out. If they come back, fantastic. If they don't, hey, they could find another cowboy.
Right.
And so I never exercise pressure on them. They got to submit to the pimping. You heard me? The pimping ain't going to force you. And whereas her ex used to, put his hands on her and slap her face, I slap her mind. But she never experienced that. So when I say something that reminds her of that previous trauma, then I'm now closer aligned with that guy, which is not what I want to be.
Right.
So you're right that there's so much you have to unpack, and within the SASS, and we call it the Dr. Phil method.
Right.
You get in her head like Dr. Phil. And if you fail to do that, you will never have proper understanding of that woman or proper influence of that woman.
Facts. That's a real talk. And I think that's a thing that's very overlooked when men are dealing with women, is that I think guys underestimate how much influence that you have over a woman. You understand? And dealing with women is that women are looking to us for guidance and leadership. You understand what I'm saying? They're looking to us to be examples, because you know why women love confident men? Because women see in men that confidence. That's the thing that they see in you when you're confident is what's lacking in her about a situation. So that's why she's attracted.
Mr. Lucario, repeat that one time for the people.
See, women like confident men because they see in you what's lacking in them in certain situations, right? Now, you do have confident women out there, but a lot of times what happens is that because I saw a video you did the other day, and I was like, this was so real when you was talking about how women are insecure, and you were saying how much of the insecurity does she have, but she definitely is insecure. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing is that they're looking for that confidence in you because that's what they strive to be. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing is, when you're a guy who's not confident, when you're a guy who's insecure, the reason why they don't like you is because they see what they see in themselves in you at that moment when you're being insecure, and they don't like that. You see what I'm saying? so what happens is that this is why you'll have a woman mistreat a guy who is like portraying weak. You understand what I'm saying? Energy, like you're being weak, you're crying all the time, you're being soft, you're complaining. You're like, when you're, displaying this type of energy, it's a reminder of the things she hates within herself. And when you're confident, it's a reminder of what she strives to be. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I tell guys that they're like, oh, why do women act like that to the guy? The reason why is because on a subconscious level, when it comes to her survival, meaning her survival in this world, she's looking to a man for that. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning she's looking for a man for that protection. She's looking for a man for that type of energy. So now if you're a weak man, guess what that means? If she's with you, there's a chance that she can be destroyed because she's with a person who's supposed to protect her, who can't protect her because he's weak. You see what I'm saying? So this is what happens. There's a fear around that. So that fear makes her lash out on you. Just for example, if you was ever in a house with a cockroach or something and you with your girl and she's scared of cockroaches, she jumps up, screams, she probably want to take a bat or a shoe and hit it. She wants to kill that thing because it's a fear there. So it's the same thing with you, is that women are scared to be around weak men and they want to destroy you when you're weak. This is why they disrespect you when you're being on some weak stuff. But when you're a confident guy who's on point, who understands his value, who's sure about himself, that's when they're enamored by you and want to be around you and want to serve you, and they respect you because they're like, okay, wow, I finally found the man. You understand what I'm saying? That's what it's about. You see what I mean?
You're totally right. They don't want to duplicate that which they are.
Exactly.
They need growth. So when you come into the relationship and you're something different, you're a compliment. So together you're stronger.
Exactly.
I agree with you there. Christian Goggins comes through prosperous as well with $30. He writes, thoughts on lying to get what you want.
Yeah.
Hey, Lucario, you out here lying to these hoes? What you telling them, man? What you telling these hoes?
Nah, man. Listen, man. Do you guys know that lying actually is bad for your health? Look this up. Like you can, yeah. Y'all didn't know that, right? Listen,
they out here dying, bro.
Exactly. Lying is actually bad for your health. But the thing is this, though, is that when you lie, right, to a woman to try to get something out of her, try to get a situation, what happens is that you're basically taking a shot at your self-esteem. Is that when you lie, what you're essentially saying is you're saying who I am, who I really am, is not good enough to get what I want. You see what I'm saying? So basically what you're doing is that you're saying you're not good enough, which means that you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So you're taking a hit at your self-esteem subconsciously every time you're lying. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. So
that right there.
So I tell guys,
put that in a blunt, roll that up and smoke that, Saint.
Because listen, I'm not gonna front. It was when I was back in the day, bro, I was lying like crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was like, because I thought, that's what I'm saying. I was thinking the same. I was like, she's not going to go for that. She's not going to like me if I act this. You see what I'm saying? Or if I be this way. And so what happens is that as I gotten older, what I realized too, though, is that not only does lying take a hit at your self-esteem, but what it does is that it creates mistrust in the interactions you're having with the woman. And so when a woman doesn't trust you, that's where more and more disrespect and a lot of sneaky, weird type of energy happens when you're dealing with women. You see what I'm saying? Because now you can't get full cooperation with a woman unless you're honest. It's impossible. If she can see or find out, or she gets the sense that you're lying, what happens is that from that point, she can no longer trust in you. And then when she can no longer trust in you, she can't cooperate with you, meaning she can't actually work with you to make anything happen because she does not feel safe around you in the situation, because because this is the thing. Guys always tell me, they say, because I've heard people say, why should we be honest with women when they be lying to us and all this other stuff? And I always say this, stop worrying about trying to do the same things women are doing, because it's not the same. You're not the same thing, because women suck dick, but I'm sure you don't want to suck dick, right? You know what I'm saying? So why are you worried about women doing, right? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is this, again, this goes back to what I was saying, is that women see things in us that they don't see in them. The reason why they're lying to you is because they are doing things that they wish, they basically, women wish they could tell the truth, right? But in order for them to get certain things, they have to be lying and manipulative to try to get things out of men, because most guys are also lying and being manipulative. So what happens is that it creates a sense of game playing. So what happens is women are masters at game playing and being manipulative and playing games. So now if you're also lying and being manipulative, she's like, you know what? I'm the master at this. Oh, you trying to lie? You trying to manipulate? I'm going to show you what's going on with this, right? Now, what happens is when you're honest with women, right, it shows them that it's okay for them to be honest with you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to set the example of honesty so that they can be vulnerable enough to be honest with you. This is what I try to tell guys. It's just, for example, if you're on a date with a girl, right? The way to get her to open up is first you should open up. Now, you don't tell her everything about your life. Don't be going all crazy. But what I'm saying is it's going to be something simple. You could tell her, for example, you could tell her an embarrassing story. Like, oh, I remember a few years ago, I went here and this happened. It was crazy. And it was so embarrassing, right? And then because you opened up to her, she'll probably tell you something embarrassing that happened to her because she's mirroring you now. Mm-hmm. So the reason why chicks are lying a lot of times is because they're mirroring these other guys who are also lying or also being fake or also being disingenuous. When you're being truthful, they're going to mirror the truth because remember, women follow you. No matter what you're doing, a woman's following you. So if you're going to be a guy who has game and who's sexually attractive, a woman's going to follow you by having sex with you. If you're a guy who's leading with your wallet and your money, a woman's going to follow you by taking all your money and being a gold digger. If you're a guy who don't have no mouthpiece, your game is garbage, she's going to follow you by putting you in the friend zone by you acting like a friend to her. Everything you're doing is a reflection. The way that women act towards you is a reflection of how you're coming at the situation. So if you come at her with the truth, she's going to follow you with the truth. Now, she might start out lying because that's how she left the last dude. But if you present the truth and honesty and integrity and authenticity, then she's going to follow that because that's what you're about at that moment. And trust me, women want to be honest with men. It's just they don't feel safe being honest with men because they know that a lot of men they can't be honest with because a lot of guys can't take how women really are. You see what I'm saying? So if you can take it, women will be super honest with you. They'll tell you things they won't tell other men because they see that you can handle it. They see that you can handle the truth. And the reason why they see you can handle the truth is because you're being truthful first. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Peace to the saints, man. Look,
that's the
saint who shared that question via Cash App. Mm-hmm. And to Jarrell, there's so much we got to unpack on that because, bro, that's Ivy League game right there. You dig? I want to start from the beginning when you're first talking about the spiritual aspect, which is when you lie, you degrade yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That
was a big revelation. I hope that hit people as hard as it should have, which is you said, when you're out there as a man and you're lying to a female, you're subconsciously communicating to yourself and to her, my reality is not good enough.
Exactly.
So I'm creating a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's deep. And I rock with that. And you know what? I feel fortified by that statement. And that helps me stand stronger and stand in truth. And I hope the same is true for all of you. Now, I'm the saint and the sinner. So now that was the saintly side. Now let's move to the other side. You done met this hoe. It's in Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Right.
Can you tell the hoe a lie? Because I'm just trying to beat it down for the night, Mr. Lucario. Right. Can I lie to this broad so I could get these draws?
Right. Well, this is the thing. It's interesting because I think somebody also asked me this question. It was like, is there ever a time where it's, beneficial for you to lie? Now, if somebody got a gun to your mama head, you understand what I'm saying? And you got to tell a lie to save her, then just lie. You understand? You ain't gonna tell the truth at that point, right? But yeah, you in Vegas, this chick trying to make it happen or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is the thing. You could lie. And let's say that you lie and gets the draws because you about to fly out. You don't care. You telling her you a doctor. You telling her you you know what I'm saying, you P. Diddy cousin and all that.
I am Prince Hakeem. I have come from my private jet from Zamunda.
Right. You telling her whatever you think is gonna make it to it, she gonna go down and whatever, right? So now what happens is, okay, you get the draws, right? But this is the thing you gotta understand though, is that, and this is what I was saying before, is that you get the short-term pleasure, but then it affects you long-term. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things where you know, most of the time people, they don't do things just one time. They continuously do certain things. So it's like, I'm gonna just do this lie once, and then you're like, okay, one more lie, okay, another, and then so it becomes lying over time. You understand? But also, even before that, what happens is that it takes away from integrity. So this is what I tell guys too. The reason why most guys don't actually, or I should say this, the reason why most guys aren't attractive to women is because most guys don't have integrity when it comes to how they deal with women. So, and then I'm gonna bring it back to the lion. So what happens is this: every time you do something that is outside of your integrity and honesty and authenticity, what it does is that it sort of lowers you. So you ever play like a video game or some shit, like one of these fighting games, and they show the power going down or whatever, or you use a certain power thing and it'll take away your power, whatever. Every time you're out of integrity, is taking away from building you up. Every time you're within integrity, it builds you up. So now what happens is this: let's say you back in Vegas, you got that chick, she's trying to make it happen. Now you say, you know what? I could lie to her and get the draws. But if I honest, let's say I might not get the draws. So let's say you don't get the draws. So he's like, you know, I'm not gonna lie to her, I'm gonna just be honest. So you be honest to this girl, you don't get the draws, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens is that because you didn't lie, you build up integrity. So now what happens is that when you talk to other women, they're interacting with you as a guy who's built integrity, meaning that every time you build integrity, you become more attractive. Every time you lose integrity, you become less attractive. So the reason why most guys are not attractive to women is because most guys say, fuck my integrity, I'm gonna do whatever, say whatever, try to make anything happen just to get it. You feel what I'm saying? So now every time you're doing that, you're lowering and lowering and lowering and lowering yourself. So now when a new woman meets you, let's say you meet a girl you're really feeling, you're like, man, this chick's bad. She cool. She seems like she could be wifey type. Now she's meeting you as a guy who's in low integrity, right? Because you've been doing so much stuff that caused you to be down here. You feel what I'm saying? Versus to be this stand-up guy here, right? And so what happens is that it's a thing where it's something that happens in the long run. See, guys be playing the short game. I try to teach guys to play the long game. It's just like in business. If you're, like let's say, for example, not even business, it could just be like saving money. You're like, okay, I'm gonna save this amount of money this time all the time. And then within 10 years, you got all this money saved up and you put it into a mutual fund or whatever it is to build it up, and it's been building. Now, imagine you have all this money, and every time you try to save, every 3 months, you keep taking stuff out. Every 2 months, you keep taking stuff out. So by the time 10 years get there, you ain't got no money. You understand? Versus you would have this much money by this time. So now it's the same thing with women, is that the more and more that you're out of integrity, the less and less attractive you become. And then the less and less attractive you become, the harder it becomes to attract women. And then therefore you start doing more and more things that's going to get you out of that integrity. You see what I'm saying? So it's a vicious cycle. You see what I mean?
I agree with you. And in fact, I think that a lot of the things that guys are lying about are actually not the things that are important to women.
Right.
When a man might lie to appear wealthier than he is. Well, if she was going to mess with you, it wasn't because you were wealthy. It's because of how she perceived you in terms of attractiveness or personality or friendliness. And so we're often lying about the things that have no matter to the woman, but they matter to us. Right.
Right.
In fact, a lot of guys, I've even gotten DMs, a gentleman will say to me, hey, Marquett, I have a small penis. I can't relate to that. But the truth is, what I can relate to is giving out lazy dick, man. So what I can tell you is, of all of the good women I've dealt with, none of them ever cared about the quality of the actual sex when we laid down. They care about the quality of how I connect with them mentally, how I take care of them, how I treat them, how I lead them, which is to say that the male insecurity is not what aligns with the female priority. We care about the size of our penis. They don't. Unless she's a whore, right? But the woman you really want doesn't care. We care if we look rich, but they don't really care if we look rich. We're completely misaligned in that when you have male insecurity, then everything is crumbling.
Right.
We lie because of the insecurity. So I think you're right. And not only are you right about it degrading yourself, and the way she sees you. But even when you tell the truth, I think you're still going to get the same outcome that you would have that you think you would have gotten with the lie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's still going to be the same thing. You're going either you're going to win or you're going to lose. But to go back to your earlier point of law of large numbers, if you're really out there in the game and you're spitting at a volume of women, I always say do a 3 a day at the minimum. You don't really have to get so hung up on this one girl to where you feel you got to lie to her because you didn't holler at 20 this week. You got 6 in your text message inbox right now you ain't replied to. So now you can ease back and deal with the game, at a high level. Let's see what other questions they have for Mr. Lucario dropping this high level game. And you know what I really like about your perspective versus these guys who don't even have any hair on their balls and get on the internet thinking they're going to tell somebody else how to live life. You're talking about how to address a woman, but you're also underlying giving these men leadership. You're talking about you got to have integrity. A woman's not going to follow you without integrity. And you're so right, because when a woman does not see you with esteem, she doesn't have respect. So she's not going to follow your way. She's not going to feel any level of guilt when she wrongs you because she considers you to be a scoundrel. But if she looks at you as a righteous man, when she does something wrong, you don't even have to pimp slap her. You have to say, I'm disappointed in you. And that hurts her. You know what I'm saying? But if she doesn't esteem you, your words have no impact because your word is not bond.
That's some real shit that you just said right there. Because the fact is that when she respects you and you're like, yo, I'm disappointed that you did that. I'm disappointed that happened, right? The reason why it stings is because what happens is she's already had that respect for you and saw you as that dude in the first place, which is she wants you to say, man, I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that you know what I'm saying? Like she wants that type of praise and validation. So when you're not giving it to her because she might have done something that wasn't cool or whatever, then it makes her think, damn, I shouldn't have did that. And I'm sorry, let me make it up. Yo, I'm telling you, the thing that turns me on the most is when a woman says, I'm sorry. I love it. It's, oh man, I love that. So like, it's because basically what that's saying is that, and especially when she means it, she's really sorry. Basically what she's saying is that I'm sorry that I did something to potentially mess up this situation that you created for us. You understand what I'm saying? That's basically what happens. And a lot of times women say, I'm sorry. You understand? It's a respect for the situation that was created in this. Because remember, us men, we're the ones that make relationships happen. We approach, you understand? We set up the situation, the dates or whatever. We set up all the things so we're the ones that create the situations. And then we also manage and maintain the situations when the situation is there. You understand what I'm saying? So we're orchestrating this whole thing. And so when a woman is with a man that she respects, she's like, man, I'm so happy that I'm with you. And then when something goes down, she's like, look, I'm sorry that I did this and sorry that I did that. But like you said, if she sees you as a guy who has no integrity, when she messes up, or something goes down, it's almost like she's like, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? She's looking at you like, it's like, you ever go into a bathroom, a public bathroom, and there's piss all over the seat. So you piss on the seat by mistake, and you're like, whatever. Everybody done pissed on it, so who cares? You understand what I'm saying? But but if it's a clean bathroom, you try to, you know what I'm saying? Like respect.
Absolutely.
Right. Same thing with women. It's like when she's looking at you like, man, this guy ain't about nothing. He's always flip-flopping. He's all over the place. I ain't got to respect this dude. I'm actually on my way out to get to this next dude. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just waiting for the next dude that's on point so I could make something happen. This is how important it is, because a lot of guys, they get so butthurt because they're like, oh, I don't like how this woman did me, or I don't like that this woman did that. A lot of times the women are doing things based off of you messing up in the situation in the first place. So every time, like whenever a woman does something I don't like, I always ask myself, what did I do? And I don't say, oh man, why she? No, I always say, where did I go wrong in this situation for this particular situation to occur? You understand? So that's the thing with my mismanagement, because what it does is that it also trains you to be able to say, I'm responsible for my whole domain, my whole life, which includes the women that are in my life. So and it goes for everything else, because if you're trying to be a businessman, you can't be like, yo, it was everybody else's fault. And it was, no, I run the business. So everything under this business is on me. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when you're dealing with your woman. It's on you. And this is why you have to be able to manage the situation. This is why you have to be able to lead. All of these things are important, which is why you also have to be able to vet a woman to see if she's capable to be in the position of a girlfriend, wife, or somebody significant in your life. You know what I'm saying? So that's some real stuff right there. You know what I mean?
Because she could for sure be in a side girl just fronting, right?
Exactly. Facts.
Shout out to City. He writes, any tips for steering the conversation towards sex? To hop on this one real quick, number one, I often recommend against steering the conversation towards sex. Conversation is of words. Sex in reality is of physicality. So why is it, do you think, that your words are going to necessarily lead you there? What your words do is they give her a warning, an alert. What I would rather do is have you speak modestly and start leading toward the physicality through physicality. You dig? So I always say take action if you can. Now, if you're on the phone or you're on text message, why do you want to lead the conversation towards sex if you're not in the place to be to actually convert it?
Physical, right?
You know what I'm saying? So you really want to be thoughtful about that. Sometimes you're so driven by libido and your horniness that you're not thinking clearly. Like, okay, well, what if you did lead the conversation towards sex via text message? Now what? Like now what? So really, when you're in person, you also want to think about circumstance. Are we in a physical space to where if I can leverage my tools of being proximate, close to her physically, laying hands on her, and if appropriate, saying the right words to her, can I make it pop off here? Because when you transition her to that sex, it should be like a magic trick. It should be like, we're here and now we're over here. And she should say, oh, I don't even know how that happened, because it's smooth and swift. You dig? So that's my piece on it. Player, what do you say about it?
That's interesting. You know what I always tell guys with this whole thing is that, see, there's nothing wrong with being sexual with your conversation per se, but what it is that you still need to be able to understand the context in which you're doing the conversation. Meaning, like, for example, if I'm in a situation where there's no possible way for, whatever reason, where I can have sex with this woman right now, you understand what I'm saying? At this point, it doesn't make a difference if I'm saying sexual stuff and leading the conversation sexual, because right now I can't have sex with you. You understand? So, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're at a club or a bar or something like that, and you meet a girl who's from out of town, and she's staying in a hotel, but she's staying in the hotel with like 3 or 4 of her friends. So all 4 of her friends is there, and you can't take her to the bathroom because the bathroom is packed. And, so it's like at that moment, it doesn't really make sense to be super sexual at that moment because I can't have sex with you right now. So what I would say is my conversation would be more about, when are we going to have a free moment? Like, when are you leaving tomorrow? You leaving next week? Okay, you leaving next week. Cool. Listen, when's the next day you free? Oh, you free Monday? All right, listen, I'm free Monday too. Let's meet up at so-and-so, or let's meet here to make something happen. So now when I meet her there and I have things set up, then I can be in that conversation of sexual stuff and touching and doing all this other stuff, because now I can lead her to the sex location or the sex spot to make something happen. You see what I'm saying? So you got to think about that within its entirety. So I think a lot of times guys are worrying about or thinking about just the idea of having sexual talk and making sexual conversations, and not necessarily thinking about the context in which it's happening. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is also another thing too. You guys got to understand something. Sometimes what happens is that you can give a woman, let's say, for example, you're in a situation where you're giving a woman so much attention as far as conversation and being very sexual, whatever, and you can't lead it to sex for whatever reason, the circumstance. You can't take her back to your place for some reason because you got your roommates there and your mom is sleeping there this weekend or whatever the fuck it is, and you can't take her to her hotel because it's crazy right there and you got enough time to book a new hotel, whatever it is. There's certain circumstances where it can't happen. If I'm being super sexual and doing all this stuff with her there and I'm making out with her and doing all this other craziness, sometimes what happens is she gets her attention fix already at that moment. So therefore, if I hit her up the next day or next week and I say, hey, let's get together again and finish what we started, I'm good. And the reason why she's good is because I've given her all the attention and validation and all this other stuff already at that moment. So because this is what you guys got to understand. Women love sex just as much as us. You understand what I'm saying?
More.
Right. But also don't ever underestimate how much women love attention. So what happens is that because I'm giving this woman so much sexual attention and we couldn't follow through with sex. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. This happens sometimes. Sometimes what will happen is that because I gave her so much attention sexually at that moment and I couldn't move it to actual sex, she'll just take the fact that she got the attention and be satisfied with that. You see what I'm saying? Instead of me saying to myself, man, I can't smash this girl tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'll exchange numbers with you. I'm going to hit you up and then we'll start at that point and then have the sex going on. You see what I'm saying? So that we can, you understand what I mean? So you leave it at that point. So sometimes what happens is that sometimes you give a woman too much attention in that moment where it can't happen and the momentum dies down. See, it's better. See, the thing is this, you guys want to be going up this way, right? And you want things to be going up, right? Now, if you go up this way and this is all you can take it, meaning y'all can't have sex, and then next week you call her, it's down here again. The momentum is gone. It's lost. So you might have lost that opportunity. I always say strike while the pussy's hot. Sometimes the pussy gets cold and you can't strike no more. You understand what I'm saying? It's over. You know
I agree with you there. And the worst thing is that when you're making the conversation sexual, but there's no real possibility of sex, you've then given her the validation that she's been seeking and you've shown your hand. I like to have a chick's mind boggle to where she's not even sure if I'm attracted to her. Are we going out as friends right now? And then when it's time to actually get to that good stuff, you heard me, it moves so rapidly, she doesn't know what's going on. But more importantly, she's been waiting for it and wanting it and desiring it and yearning for it, meaning that the food tastes best when you were starving. The food is always good when you're hungry, but they don't create the hunger in the woman because they show up and they're already showing their hand and the woman can see the whole movie, the whole plot. You don't want to watch the trailer of a movie and know everything that's going to happen. And that's what happens with most of these guys. There's no level of mystery, no intrigue. It's like they show up and give the woman everything, the attention, the sexual interest. There's no mystery. There's no plot twist. And the woman is looking for something different. So if every guy who approaches her off the rip, she can assume they like her. So you've shown up as just one of a whole army of guys who's approached her, especially if she's attractive. So I agree with you there.
I wanted to say something real quick too, as far as like the sexual talk and everything like that. See, I like to be direct when I'm talking to women in most cases. And what it is too is that, again, a lot of guys have to understand how to feel out of because a lot of guys think being direct is just walking up to a girl and say, hey, I want to smash. You understand? That's not really what it's about. Right. You know what I'm saying? Part of what makes being direct so effective or just like talking, getting into those conversations is being able to feel a girl out and see where she's at and how she's responding to you so that you can actually respond back to her to get the best situation to occur. So what happens is this: I don't like to give women attention just for attention's sake. All the attention that I give a woman is calculated. So what happens is that if I'm talking to a girl and I can sense and I can see that she's not really that interested in me, that means that I'm not going to keep going. I'm not going to take it further. I'm not going to give her any type of extra conversation that's showing I have interest, because now she's already shown me that she's not interested. So now it's basically just me giving her extra stuff for nothing. So I'm overextending my energy for nothing right now. If I'm in a conversation with a woman and I see she's flirting back with me, I see that she's smiling, I see that she's giggling, she's having a good time or whatever. Now that says to me, okay, I see that there's interest. So now I can continue further. You understand what I'm saying? I can give you more because you're showing you're worth me giving you more and showing that you're worth flirting in that way to make it go to that next level. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times guys, what they do is that it's like they're giving their gift away to women who are undeserving of that gift. You understand what I'm saying? They're giving their gift away to women who don't really even want the gift sometime, or women who are just going to play around with the gift, meaning they're just playing around with the fact that, I have this guy here giving me attention, but I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm just giving that woman attention, because remember, everything you're doing is energy. I remember I was watching this video once, and this guy was talking about talking to girls and picking up girls. He said, if you're out there on the streets talking to girls, and he said, if you're doing it right, you'll probably break a sweat, because it's energy. You understand what I'm saying? And I was like, I agree. You understand what I'm saying? So every time I'm talking to a woman, I'm giving this woman my energy, whereas I could have been giving that energy elsewhere, just like anything else. Like, energy and your attention is so important. Like, even everybody in the chat, shout out to y'all, because y'all could have been anywhere else in the world, but right. You guys are giving us your energy, and we're giving y'all our
hit that like.
You see what I'm saying? Hit the like.
Right.
Facts. So we're giving each other energy, and this is a gift. Like, we could be anywhere in the world right now. There's a million things we could be doing, and life is short. I take that to the next level. So even when I'm talking to a woman, I'm like, is she worth me spending another minute on her? Is she worth me even having even more? Is she worth me even making her, getting her to smile or enjoy a moment? And if I see that it's not, I'm falling back, because I'm like, I ain't got time to waste. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever tried to throw the Hail Mary? When I get to that point that you described, right, you're not sure if the chick is engaged. There doesn't seem to be the rapport isn't there. It's not moving along. Mm-hmm. When I get to that point with a female and I say, okay, it seems as though this thing is dead, mm-hmm, and I don't want to invest energy in creating something where there can be nothing, I'll throw that Hail Mary if I just want to smash. So I'll hit her with a crazy text like, hey, why don't you come over and let me bend you over and do beep, and then do exactly. Beep. You hear me? And then see what she's saying. I feel like those convert at probably about 17%, but I still throw that Hail Mary for a chance to salvage something out of nothing. Snatch victory. You ever throw the Hail Mary?
No, I agree. And that's a good thing, because sometimes what happens is that sometimes I've had this happen a few times where, like, because I tell the chick straight up, I'll be like, listen, like, let's come over to the spot, or I'm gonna come, or let's get together and hook up, and we gonna do whatever, anything, something sexual, anything like that, right? And so sometimes the girl is like, nah, I'm not that type of girl. I'm not trying to do that, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, cool. You know what? Well, when you change your mind, you hit me up. When you change your mind, hit me up. I don't say if, I say when you change your mind, hit me up. And like, more than half the time, I get those same girls randomly hit me up just out of the blue. You understand? And it can happen within a week. It can happen within 2 days. And sometimes it can happen within a month, or sometimes, I've had girls a year from now that I don't forgot they even existed. Hollered at me. It was like, hey, what you doing? You want me to come over? And that's because you set the precedent to let them know, hey, listen, if you're trying to mess with me, we got to do this, period. You understand what I'm saying?
The young boys don't know that. That's real life. And the reason that happens to you is because you're a man of increasing value.
Right.
And what they don't realize is that a woman, these women are not fools, and they're certainly looking for value. And though they might say, for whatever reason, I'm not going to deal with them right now, but they keep you on that back burner. Mm-hmm. You're in that roster. You might not be in the game right now, but you're on that roster. And, let some circumstances change in their life, or let them get a little more mature, whatever the case is. They're going to bang that line, because they're looking at you as an infinite source of all of the things that they know they need. Mm-hmm. And because you're a man of growing value, they're going to keep you in mind. Right. Whereas if you're a man who's not of value, you can best believe when she said farewell, you would never be able to tell a story about her again, because she's gone. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Saints. Jarrell comes through on PayPal. He writes, first time tuition quet. My boy's mom is single. This already started out crazy, Mr. Lucario. He said, my boy's mom, I'm going to read the question. He said, my boy's mom is single, attractive, and wants to smash. I'm 35, she's 50, and we ain't talking about sense. I'm a brother from New York. He's from your hood, but living in Mexico. Should I do it? We're both adults, so it's really none of my boy's business. I'm wrong.
Listen, I think he need to holler at his boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at it like this. Figure out who your boy is. And what I mean is he the type that's going to act funny if he know that you trying to smash his moms? Right?
Bro, who ain't gonna act funny if you smash their mom? Come on, man.
They don't care. They probably gonna be like, all right, you do what you do, you know. But most of them they gonna feel a certain type of way. So this is the thing. I think he needs to talk to his boy. You understand what I'm saying? Just throw him a little, just hit him a little line, be like, listen, bro.
You ask your partner, like, hey, bro, can I smash your moms?
Right.
That's what you gonna do. You gonna ask him, like, hey, your mom.
I call him and be like, yo, bro, what you think about, you know, if I was to, just hypothetically speaking, what would you think if I was to smash your moms? Like, you know, he's gonna be like, nigga, what the fuck you doing? No, that's a tough spot. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. You know, you gotta tread lightly with that. But I would definitely tell him to talk to his boy. I'll come at him and be like, bro, I got something to tell you, bro. Your mom's is trying to holler. I'm just being real. Your mom's is trying to holler. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm just out of respect for you, I'm coming to you to let you know. So let me know what you think about this. And then see what's popping off. Cause he might be on some like, hey, bro, you know, I respect that you came up to me, my
mama a hoe. Go ahead, man.
Just do it. Just make sure you don't become my stepdaddy or something, you know what I'm saying?
Look, number one, shout out to baby girl, because if she 50 and she still look righteous, that's a beautiful thing.
That's crazy.
You know, I'm from LA, which is to say that, you know, to keep it gangster with you, if your man's girl come at you and she throwing it at you, I'm not saying you're pursuing it, but she throwing it at you,
right?
Well, you might as well go Mark McGuire and Babe Ruth that motherfucker over the fence. You heard me? Why is it? Because if she's a slut and I'm your man, I'm your partner, she's a slut. She handing out the vagina like Costco samples. So if somebody gonna eat, let my man's eat. You heard me? Because I'm gonna get rid of you regardless.
Right.
As far as the female goes, she got to go. Now, if it's your mother, it saddens me that someone's mother would be conducting themselves in this way. This hurts my heart.
Right.
Ideally, you don't want to slay anybody's moms. You know, moms, dukes, you know, you don't want to slay anybody's moms, ideally. But it seemed like she needed in her life, and it seemed like you needed in your life. I would weigh this up. Who is your friend really?
Right.
Who is he really? If it's your friend, you should have a sense of how he would react.
Right.
And based on how much you want that friendship, you should estimate if you need to be dicking down his mother. I surmise that's not going to go well for that friendship. Now, I'll tell you, my mother is not that kind of woman. And I'm not saying that because she's my mom. I'm saying that because I know her soul. If she was a whore, I would tell you my mama's a slut. But my mom's not that kind of woman. But if someone dig down my mother, just the kind of man that I am, I would have to respect that because she is an adult and you are an adult.
Right.
And there's no need for you to pass up a piece of pie. If she cutting slices of pie, hey, don't pass up a piece of pie, bro.
Right.
And you're right. As an adult, it has nothing to do with him. So as men, we should not lead with our emotions, but lead with reason. And you should never try to control or influence others. That 3-sentence Bible, number one, be yourself, which means everyone else has the right to be themselves. So if your mom's a whore and she wants to be in the whore Olympics, let her go for the gold, man. Hop in them stands and clap it up for her, bruh. So that's my final advice is
I just tell dude, don't be an asshole and then get into an argument with your friend and be like, yo, that's why I smashed your moms, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
that'll get you killed.
Right. Don't do that.
That'll get you killed, bruh.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate the question, Jarrell. And if you do it, man, I guess she 50. You ain't even got a strap on. You hit that raw, skeet all in that, shoot the club up. Joseph comes through on PayPal. He writes, is it player to let your wife sleep with other men? Pause. Major pause. I'm going to reread that. I hope it's a typo. Joseph writes, is it player to let your wife sleep with other men, then come back home like Mr. Lucario allows his wife to do? Shots fired. Shots officially fired. Mr. Lucario, I'm assuming they talking about you, not the other Lucario. Talk to the people, bro. We got to cut this up as a whole separate clip now.
Oh yeah, definitely. See, the thing is this: what they don't understand is that it's not player if you in a monogamous relationship, which I'm not in a monogamous relationship. Again, this is what you guys have to understand about game. It's about context. You understand what I'm saying? Because a pimp, right? His women are messing with other dudes. So you gonna say a pimp ain't player? You're gonna say a pimp ain't really about a pimp is the highest level of the game, right? So
absolutely
is that he's in a situation where he's having his women sleep with other men for money, right? Now, in a non-monogamous relationship, what guys have to understand is that I'm not sitting at home twiddling my thumbs, playing video games while my girl is out there doing what she
You're at home texting her, babe, where you at?
Right, exactly. Right. I'm out here doing my thing. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what guys don't understand is that I don't let my wife do it, right? My wife does it because that's the arrangement that I created in the situation, and she's doing what she do because you can't control no woman. That's number one. That's number one. Now, two, what guys don't understand is that, again, like I said, is context. So when you're in a specific context, things are different. So now if I meet your wife or another dude's wife and y'all are in a monogamous relationship and she's sleeping with other men, that means she's cheating, right?
Correct. She's lying.
Right, exactly. If I'm in a situation where I created the relationship to be how it's supposed to be, you understand what I'm saying? And she's doing what she's doing in the relationship based under my guidance, that means she's following my lead. I'm the one telling her to do this. I said, yo, listen, let me tell you guys something. I've had women who I was just hooking up with, not even girlfriend, nothing, just hooking up with girls who just liked me. And they said, Lucario, I just want to be with you. I said, if you don't get out of here with that BS, I would encourage them. I said, yo, go mess with the other dude because you ain't being with me, just with me. And I told them this. And the reason why I told them this is because I've had women who just wanted to be with me. And what they would do is that they would try to soak up all my time, attention, and energy. And the reason why they was doing that, was because they were only messing with me. See, a lot of guys, they have an ego where they're like, oh, I only want her to do this and do that with me. But you got to understand that when you're able, because a lot of guys say, if I was in an open relationship or I was non-monogamous, I'd be messing with all these other girls, but all my women wouldn't be messing with no dudes.
Right.
That's foolish because you can't control that. And that's unrealistic. That's what guys don't understand. And on top of that, what's happening, that's an energy suck. Imagine you with your one girlfriend, right? And that girl is emotional. Then you got to deal with managing her emotions. Now try that with 2 women. Try that with 3 women. Try that with 4 women, all coming at you emotional. You think you want to deal with that? I don't think so. Now, what happens is that because you're also dealing with other women and you're with this other woman that you're with, right? You need to spread the energy around. It's just like when you have kids. Let's say you got 3 or 4 kids.
Let me pause you before you get into these analogies. Somebody in the comments said you a master of analogies, and they ain't never lied. I don't know if you had these ready. I don't know if you've been in the game for so long, but your analogies be hitting, they be on point, and I love it as a tool for clarification. But you don't even have to think. I be having to think, damn, what could I compare this to? You are the analogy king, so you're the game king and the analogy king. Number one, before I go on, do you give me permission to chop this up into a little clip and put a crazy ass title on it?
Yeah, yes. I want you to do that. Hell yeah.
Now, I like this question for a couple reasons. Number one, because it caught me off guard. That's for damn sure.
Right.
Number two, because it also gives us to do some metacognition, which is to think about the question, which is the idea of someone going into your personal business. It's one thing if I come to you to get the game, how can I get the game and apply to my life? But if I don't want a life like yours, you might be able to give me game, but I don't necessarily need to know about what exactly you're doing in your personal relationship if that's not what I want. What I'm doing in my household don't have nothing to do with you. And I'm a fairly private man myself. I got 1,000 questions now, and I'll get them real quick. Number one, when I started reading this question, I didn't know what the hell this brother was talking about.
I already knew what he was talking about. I was
like, you knew he was coming for your neck.
I was like, let's get into it. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about coming for your neck. Okay. Yeah. So that's number one. And then number two, I'm not asking for my personal interest because I have no interest in what you're doing in your home. Because as I said, be yourself. Hey, whatever makes you happy, fantastic. If that's not my flavor, I'm going to do my own thing. So I don't need to study that because I'm not about to do that. But in your situation, it's open on both ends. Is the understanding? Like your wife do what she do, you do what you do. Cool. We have an agreement. We come back to the center.
That's how that works. And what I always tell guys is this. I was gonna say it like this. So a lot of guys have this thing where they want to be messing with other women, but they don't want the women messing with other men. Now that could happen if that's your agreement. But what happens is that most men are not equipped to do that, and most women aren't even equipped to do that. Because what happens is a lot of guys don't understand that women also have sexual urges the same way we have sexual urges, and sometimes even more. So now what happens is that if you're just with this women, these 3-4 women by yourself, and they're just with you, but you're messing with other women, what's going to happen is, like I said, all of the energy is going to be coming your way, which is going to be so much stress on you, which creates a situation where you can't even manage the relationship, which is going to dissipate the relationship anyway. That's 2. Now, third thing I wanted to say is this, is that what a lot of people don't understand is, right? And see, Ninja, I see 21 in the chat. He said this guy's a cuck, and this is why I like to explain this stuff. What a cuck is,
they dirty today, bro.
We gotta teach the ignorant, right? What a cuck is, right? The original cuck definition is when a guy is with a woman who's been unfaithful, right? And she gets pregnant by somebody else, and then he's taking care of that kid, or he doesn't know that she's running around messing with other dudes. That's the original version of cuck. Now, the new updated version of cuck is when a woman is messing with another dude, right? And the guy she's with, her main guy, is submissive to her. That's a cuck. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a difference between a man who's non-monogamous and a cuck. So a dude who's non-monogamous means that he is not monogamous, means that he messes with other women. His woman probably messes with other dudes. A cuck is a guy who's with a woman who is humiliating him, and he's submissive to her, and he gets off on being humiliated and being submissive to his woman. You see what I'm saying? So this is why guys got to understand the definitions. Now, what I always ask guys is this question.
Let me find a question in, because I gotta mess with you, bro.
Right. Go ahead.
One, and I'm generally very private just because that's my actual nature. And then just due to some of my former activities, I'm even more private and paranoid. And at a level, I feel uncomfortable with a lot of the YouTube stuff. Just the idea with that I'll be out walking somewhere and someone knows me, but I don't know them. That makes me uncomfortable because you know what I'm saying? But so with regards to this, like in terms of my own personal relationship, I don't think anyone on the internet has any sense of what I'm actually doing unless I bring a young lady on and we have some conversation. Just yesterday, I kid you not, a young lady came and confronted me and basically cussed me out. Like, you were talking about me on YouTube. Right. I was like, girl, don't nobody know that's you if you don't sit your ass down somewhere. Like, the only person that knows that was you is you and I, but I wasn't talking about it like only you. Like, I'm trying to give some education here, but I apologize if you felt offended because I don't want to disrespect anybody unnecessarily. I believe in be good to good people. So anyways, I say that to say this. I've never gone into my own personal relationships, and I don't have a relationship like yours. I'm not suggesting that I do, but in your case, did they research this? Were you on like, hey, let me tell you how Mr. Lucario get down?
I told him, man, I'm going to tell you the main reason why I told people that I was in an open relationship. The main reason why I told people I was non-monogamous, I'm in an open relationship and stuff like that, and I put it in the public, is because what I teach people is to be comfortable with themselves. Right. So my slogan is the truth is inside you. My whole energy is about being authentic and being who you are and not being afraid to let people know what you're about. Now, there's certain things that I don't say also. I don't say everything, but this is just one thing that I've said and I've put out there just to show people, because I like to show and prove, meaning I'm not going to tell people, hey, be yourself and don't be scared to be yourself, but I'm not letting people know who I am. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is what I am. But also I put it out there for people to understand this. I also put it out there because what's interesting is I like the fact that some people get all riled up about this, because I laugh to myself inside because people don't realize that they're also hypocrites. Because what I mean is this: people are like, how are you okay with your woman messing with another guy? And I always ask this question to them. I'm like, how are you okay with the woman you're hooking up with other guys, right? Meaning that they're always talking about sex. They're like, this woman's having sex with another guy and then she's gonna have sex with you. I'm like, but yeah, the girl that you went out with yesterday had sex with another guy the other day and she's having sex with you. And so
I'm guessing that their response is that's your wife.
And that's right. And that's what they'll say.
And is this your wife we're talking about? Because mind you, I don't have any background on this. So I'm asking because I don't know.
And so they'll say, oh, but that's your wife. It's different. It's so different. Now, the only difference is in that context is that I may actually do more with my wife than a girl I'm hooking up with. But they're not talking about all that. They're just talking about sex, right? So if we're talking about in the context of sex, her being my wife and the girl being the girl you're hooking up with is still on the same level because we're just talking about sex, right? So it's the equivalent of me saying, somebody saying, oh, let's say I've used this example before. If you like to eat eggs.
Analogy King, talk to us.
You eat eggs in the morning and then you call it breakfast, right? Now, a person can eat eggs at night and call it dinner. Now, does it matter if I call it breakfast or dinner? Because you're still eating eggs.
Hey, your analogy game is strong. You see what I'm saying? You didn't miss your calling. You supposed to be Johnny Cochran, bro. You ain't even know it. You supposed to be Cochran out here. Y'all catch a case, bang Mr. Lucario line. We're going to get off of this because I don't want to take up the time on this one thing. And I feel like you've been clear.
Right.
Eggs in the morning and eggs in the evening.
It's still eggs. So it doesn't matter if I call her my wife or you call her the girl you're hooking up with. We're still dealing with women who's having sex with other men in both situations. So this is why I talk about with the hypocrisy where people don't see, they think just because you call it this, right? They're like, oh, that makes it a different activity as far as sex. Remember, I'm just talking about sex. Now, if we're talking about actually spending time with a woman, doing other things, that's a whole different story. But their complaint or their uncomfortability is about the sexual act. So what I always tell guys is this, is that the same way where you're having sex with this woman, that same woman that you're having sex with, that you hooked up with, she hooked up with another guy the day before or a week before. The same way where my woman is hooking up with somebody else. Now, the last thing I'll say about this is this. Guys always say, oh, but don't you want to control your girl, or how are you letting your girl do this, or how are you letting your girl do that? My question always to guys is this, is how do you actually control a woman? Right. Even if you're in a monogamous relationship, because guys think that if they're in a monogamous relationship, they're safe. What they think is, I have a girlfriend who's with me, and this is my girlfriend, right? Just because she's your girlfriend, that doesn't mean that I can't go and have sex with your girlfriend. I can go have sex with your girlfriend whenever I want if my game is tight, right? I can go. That's what I actually used to do. I used to search out.
That used to be my hobby.
Exactly. I told dudes this. I used to search out women who had boyfriends and husbands, and those would be my first pick to smash. I was on some savage stuff. You see what I'm saying?
So demon time.
Right. And so what I'm saying is there's other dudes out there just like me who's ready to smash your girl. So just like the other day, the chick that was with Drake, the dude bought her to Drake, Drake smashed, right? And that's the woman he's been with for 8 years. So any woman could get it. So my question is, guys, is how do you control that situation to where that won't happen? And the answer is you can't. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I tell guys is, these dudes got to understand that they think that they're safe, but they're not. You see what I mean? That's what it is.
I appreciate you going into that, by the way. Kate writes, what's Mr. Lucario's Dr. Phil method to keep him? And I don't know if Kay would have asked a different question, had she not just heard what you said. But what's the short answer to that one?
So you're saying what's the method to keep a chick interested?
When she said keep them, I'm assuming she's talking about retention, actually. So how do you keep the woman dealing with you?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. The thing is that, when it comes to understanding game, the way to keep a woman first is that she has to see you as valuable. That's one. And then two, she has to work for her position, meaning that the mistake a lot of guys do is that they give a woman so much up front. It's like, oh, I'm gonna text you good morning every day. I'm gonna give you flowers. I'm gonna do all this other stuff. And what I tell guys to do is flip that and do it backwards. Do the least for a woman at the beginning. And then once she's proven herself over time, then what's going to happen is that you give her more. And now this is the way that you keep them, is that the more a woman invests in you, the harder it is to get rid of her. This is what you guys don't understand. The more a woman invests in you, the harder it is to get rid of her and the more she wants to stay with you. So this could be something as simple as when you're dealing with a girl, you need to get, this is what I said earlier. I was saying, listen, you got to get girls to do more things for you than she's done for other guys. You have to get her to do more things that's outside her comfort zone, because the more things she does, that's the more investment she has on you. So for example, if you run in a business and let's say you run in a business selling cupcakes and pastries, you need to let that girl get in the kitchen, help you with the bacon and stir in the freaking pot and all that other stuff. You got to get her to put in work, because the more work she puts in, the more attached she gets to you, and then the more she wants to grab on and keep the journey going. You see what I'm saying? That's Absolutely. What it is. You see what I'm saying?
That's a great answer. And I agree. And we can all remember that and apply that more strongly. Make her earn her position. Came from Mr. Lucario.
Sure.
Shout out to Jabri. He right, but Lucario, is she giving you 100% of the bread?
He said, who giving me 100% of the bread?
So Jabrizi Magic, I assume he's talking about the women you're putting to work. He's saying, are they bringing back 100% of the bread? Or he might be talking about your wife, because you use the analogy of the pimping. He said, a pimp has multiple women.
Right.
And he says, well, if your wife is going out, is she bringing you back 100% of the bread? So we'll take it into one, if he's talking about the wife, and then two, if he's talking about the women you're making earn their position. Talk to us.
Well, that's the thing. That goes into why she is my wife, because there's other things outside of sex that create the situation to where she's in a position to be wife. That's what I try to get guys to understand. See, a lot of guys, and shout out to my dude KZaggin20 on YouTube, he says most men's insecurities stem directly or indirectly from sex. This is why so many people are so caught up on it. See, what the pimps understood was that sex ain't really nothing. So what happens is that a lot of guys, the trick, he thinks sex is everything. You see what I'm saying? And so this is why sometimes guys will say, "Oh, but that's your wife, and you're doing this, and you're doing all that other stuff with her." And so what happens is a lot of guys trade, their single life for marriage life or commitment life to attain sex. But they won't tell you that. Most guys ain't gonna want to tell you that. Most guys try to get into committed situations to get easy access to vagina. That's at the level they're at. See, when you're at a higher level of the game, you're looking at things as a whole. So what happens is that sex becomes something small. Sex becomes nothing. It's not really a big deal. It's really just an act. It's like a lot of people, they put too much pressure and emphasis on sex because they've been tricked into thinking that's the highest level. Like they're talking about soul ties and they're talking about all this other extra stuff and the one and all that other nonsense. And what happens is, you know what I'm saying? And so what happens is that people get so caught on that they make that the end all be all. So now, as far as you're talking about, like, the women investing, is she bringing the bread and all that other stuff? When you're first dating a woman and you're getting her to invest, right? What it is that automatically she starts to latch on to you, right? Because she's put so much time and energy in and she doesn't want to lose on her investment. And so as time goes on and you upgrade her to girlfriend, right? Then that's when you start putting more and more responsibility on her. Because check this out. What a lot of guys don't understand is this. Sometimes you actually don't want to get a woman to do too much too soon. And the reason why is because sometimes what happens is if I tell, like, let's say, for example, right, I meet a girl and we've been kicking it for 3 weeks and I ask her for like $5,000, right? What's not necessarily—
Now you have my attention, Saint. Right. Tell me more.
Right. So now, if she give me 5 G's, that's cool because I got 5 G's. But what's not cool on the opposite end of it is now she thinks that she's that important because I've asked her for something so heavy. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't really—
No, I don't understand what you're saying, Mr. Lucario. What the hell are you talking about, bro? Rewind it back.
Let me tell you. So what happens is that you can't ask of a woman something so big at this juncture, because now what happens is that at the same time you've asked her for something that big, you've elevated her to a space where she's not actually ready to be at, or she hasn't earned that space. So me even asking her for that money, even though she's the one giving me the money, what it is, that's such a huge sacrifice that she feels she's this important. Because what really happens is that if I'm going to tell a chick, give me 5 G's, that would mean that she's at the level where she's up here to where I would even ask her something of that magnitude. You see what I'm saying? So the importance of the chick has to be in correlation to the task you're giving her. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you give her too much of a heavy task at the beginning, what you're basically saying is that you're this important at this juncture, which is a mistake. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why guys can't get women.
I can't sign on to that piece. I just got it for the record. I can't sign on to that one, Pete. But carry on, because we here to hear you.
I'm telling you, because this is what happens. It's the same way as this. When you, for example, guys do this thing called love bombing, right? Love bombing means you get with a girl, you start calling her every day, telling her, hey, beautiful, I miss you. I've been thinking about you all night. I've been having dreams about you. I'm going to give you flowers. We're going to go out and do all this extravagant stuff, right? What you're doing is that you're making her too important too soon. You understand what I'm saying? So now what happens is that because she feels that she's at that level, right? This is where she feels so comfortable enough to act a certain way. So for example, if you have a girlfriend, your girlfriend can sort of go back and forth with you and ask you certain questions and sort of like, give you just a little bit of resistance on certain things because she's earned the spot to be able to ask you those type of questions. Meaning, for example, you might say, hey, let's go do this thing. Let's go to the city today. And she's going to be like, why should we go to the city? Why don't we go to the country and do this other thing? You're like, nah, we're going to go to the city, blah, blah, blah. You can have that conversation with your girlfriend. With a girl you just met or you've been kicking with her for 2 or 3 weeks, if you say, listen, I need you to meet me in the city, let's go to the city. If she's, no, but why don't we do this and do that? What happens is that she's acting as if she has the privilege and the space to question me right now. You understand? Right now, all she's in the space to do is to be able to follow my direction and see if I'm looking at her as a candidate to be something later on in life. You understand what I'm saying? Because she's not at the level yet.
Let me challenge you on that one, player. I'm going to challenge you real quick, and then we're going to see what the people are asking. Yeah. So I actually look at it almost on the flip, which is the idea that you're going to get more resistance early on. So when you're new with a chick and you say, hey, let's do X, Y, and Z, she's more inclined to say, oh, maybe we should do this, or maybe we shouldn't turn right. Maybe we should turn left, because she doesn't yet know you. She's not familiar with you to put as much trust into your decision-making and to be as inclined to follow your leadership. Whereas when she is familiar and you say, hey, we're going to go and we're going to eat at SW tonight, she's going to say, hi, Captain, it's Simon Says, and you're Simon, because she knows that you're a great leader. And so there's less need to question if you're really right, because she's observed you over time, and she know when the big homie talking, the big homie know what he talking about. Whereas a new chick, she could be a fall down bitch. Oh yeah. So she's babbling and stuff like that and asking all these questions, and she's doubting you, rightfully so, because she doesn't know Mr. Lucario from Mr. Potato Head. You know what I'm saying? So you can be anybody. What you think?
Right. And see, I understand what you're saying on that aspect, but see, that's the thing. When you're first dealing with a woman, I don't deal with women who question me at the beginning. So if you're questioning me at the beginning, you were done. Like, I don't even talk about you know what I'm saying?
You kicking these hoes out early, huh? Okay.
We're finished from the beginning. So now what happens is that I'm looking for 100% cooperation from the gate, because because this is the thing. I need her to recognize value from the jump. You understand what I'm saying? Because if she's questioning me from the beginning, that means that she doesn't recognize value from the jump, and I have no use for her. So what happens is that if she's being cooperative from the beginning and she's doing as I say from the beginning, and she's investing because I'm telling her to do stuff, she's doing it. Now, if she becomes my girl and she gets into that space, then she has the privilege to ask. She's not being combative, but she has the privilege to have that conversation with me. It's just if you're in a business where you have a person in entry level, the entry level person can't talk to the vice president or CEO. You understand what I'm saying? They got to work their way up to even have a conversation with this motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I look at it as. So what happens is that sometimes if you give the person too much, so meaning if I took that entry level person and put them in a higher position, right? Now they feel comfortable enough to say something. Do you see what I mean? So this is why I went and tell the girl, give me this or do this or do that, because now she feels like she has a say because I put her in that position to feel like she's at that level. You see what I mean?
I like that school of thought. I could dig it.
I see both ways, but it's just a different way of going at it.
Saints, you have two schools of thought here, right. And I don't even think they're in conflict. I think it's just two different approaches.
Right.
You took two different approaches,
right.
and you might have pursued two different women. And I see what you're saying in that if she come in the door with compliance, you know the road is going to be easier over the long term. Right. Like, you know that out the gate. I like that. JJ the Noop writes, first time paying tuition, peace to the saints. Peace to the saints. Welcome to the fold. We appreciate you doing something different, doing something new. On Cash App, Khalil writes, sent in $5. He got a bit of a long question. Let's see what it is. So how do you distinguish a girl who has you on her roster and just a girl using you for attention? I've met this girl at the gym and she flirts with me consistently, and I've tried escalating twice and it never went anywhere. I'd say get the fuck out of there. That's a burning building. This is because another dude in the picture. Oh, there's another dude in the picture. How would y'all play it out? The mask mandate in New York just went out. I seen her actual face for the first time and gave that Russell Westbrook, y'all niggas tripping face, and walked away. First off, you trying to holler at the broad, you ain't seen her whole face, man? Come on, man, you hustling backwards. Man, I done been at a restaurant and my waitress came up and I said, baby, lower that mask real quick.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I done been at TSA and the woman said, pull your mask. And I said, pull your mask down. Like, come on, man, you don't ever want to play the game in the dark. You can't shoot a basketball from the three-point line in the dark. Come on, Saint. He writes, I'm thinking about just ignoring from here on out. I just want to hit, but at the same time, I'm just willing to keep playing games with the girl. No, get out of there, man. You wasting time, bro. You're wasting time. She's not interested. Right. And you should have been more aggressive to get that goddamn mask down. And if you tried to escalate and it didn't go anywhere and there's another guy involved, that's too many goddamn obstacles. That's too much.
Hey, that's a wrap.
Yeah. Joseph comes back. He writes, if a Buddhist monk, okay, this is starting out fascinating.
Oh, shit.
Right. If a Buddhist monk can have sexual discipline, why can't your wife, instead of doing things that could potentially put your life on the line, i.e. sleeping around, maybe catching an STI or involving other guys whom you can come into conflict with? Does that make sense?
Right.
So that's the question he was trying to raise.
That's the question. The thing you have to understand is that the Buddhist monk is doing that because that's part of his religion and that's what he believes. So that's why he's doing it. And also you have to understand this. You don't need discipline if what you're doing isn't harming you. And this is what you guys got to understand. So discipline only is needed when either you're doing too much of something that's harming you or you're not doing enough of something that's going to improve you. You understand what I'm saying? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline only occurs when there's a lack of something happening because of your inaction. And you need discipline to make it happen. Meaning, for example, you might be disciplined to go to the gym 5 days a week and work out because you're sitting on your ass and you're lazy. So you need discipline to make sure you're there every afternoon to get your workout. Or you might need discipline to stop doing something, for example, which is, let's say, stop smoking because the smoking is causing you to mess up your lungs, lung cancer, whatever it is like that. Now, when you're doing something that you enjoy, right, and that you like doing, and it's not detrimental to you or anybody else, right? What happens is that there needs to be no discipline because there's nothing you need to be disciplined about because what you're doing is working. That's like somebody saying, why don't you have discipline and stop making these videos and stop coaching? No, I like doing the videos work for me. I coach and that's what I do. Now, as far as STDs and all this other stuff, what happens is that what most people don't understand is that you're more likely to catch an STD in a monogamous relationship. This is what people don't understand. Let me tell you how. Because, for example, let's say you're having sex with your girlfriend, right? You're in a monogamous relationship, you have sex with your girlfriend raw.
Absolutely.
Now you go cheat on your girl, right? And you wear a condom and you cheat on her with another girl and you have sex with her. Now let's say the condom pops, right? You think you could go back to your girl and say, hey, let's have sex with a condom now? So she's going to be like, why are we having sex with a condom? So either you're going to have to tell her you cheated on her and the condom broke, or you're going to have to come up with some crazy ass story. Or what you're probably going to do is when the condom broke, you're going to say, you know what? I'm good. And you're going to go have sex with your girl raw, and you caught something from the other girl that you were cheating on her with. Now, in an open relationship or a non-monogamous relationship, there's more communication. So what happens is that if I'm in a situation, let's say I'm doing some girl and the condom pop, I'm gonna go tell my wife, hey, listen, the condom pop, so we can't be doing no raw stuff on my girlfriend or whatever it is. You understand what I'm saying? We can't do any of that because I'm letting you know that I was fucking some other girl and the condom pop. So I'm trying to make sure that you don't catch anything if we're doing something. I gotta go get tested and whatever it is like that. So what happens is that in monogamous relationships, part of monogamy is cheating. So a lot of people cheat in monogamous relationships because they still have the desire and urge to have sex with other people. See, in non-monogamous relationships, what happens is that we're basically just honoring the actual natural desire to have sex with other people. You see what I'm saying? And this is what people don't understand. So it's not about being disciplined, because when you're saying being disciplined sexually, and you should be having safe sex and you shouldn't be reckless with your sex, but sex is a beautiful thing. So what it is that a lot of people demonize sex, or they put sex on a pedestal, they make sex to be this thing that is wrong. So you have to discipline yourself to not have sex, but that's all BS. See, what I'm saying is if you're having sex and you're enjoying having sex and you're having sex in a healthy, responsible way, you could have as much sex as you want and do what you do. But a lot of times, like I said, when it comes to discipline, it's about if I need to stop doing something because it's detrimental, or I need to start doing something to make things better. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is.
There. One of the things earlier, and I accidentally took the question off, he had asked, what is a man's role and what is a woman's role? And I think he's saying in relation to one another. And one thing I want to tell you, Saint, is especially in terms of how we define that within the ism. I went into great detail on that in the conference. And so if you get the conference footage, I'll try to put the link in the description, but we go really deep into the progression of a male into a man, and also the development of a female and what her priorities should be as she develops. And then how do they get along together in truth and prosperity? So that's a really meaningful question. I'm gonna put the link to the conference footage because we go deep in on that, because that's hugely important. What is your perspective on that? What's the role of a man? What's the role of a woman? And you can give me the quicker version.
Right. And I'll say this, man, for a man, it's basically understanding that you have to be responsible and you have to put in work as a man, meaning like you have a responsibility as a man to run and lead this entire situation that you're having with yourself, but also with the woman. And it's not an easy thing for a man, because what you have to understand is this: you have to do a lot of different things at one time. So meaning you have to be able to manage and maintain the relationship you're with the woman, meaning that you have to manage her emotions. You have to also manage your emotions at the same time so that you can keep the relationship intact. Right? What a woman has to do, and what her role is, that she has to find a good leader. She has to find somebody where she's able to, and this is what I always tell women, see, if you have a submissive nature as a woman, it's going to be easier for her to find that masculine leader. And what a lot of women do is they make the mistake of saying, I'm not going to be submissive until a guy proves that, and that's nonsense. Right. That's literally right. Saying I'm not going to be masculine until a woman proves that I should be masculine. No, I'm masculine regardless. And so women should be submissive regardless. So what happens is that a woman has to find that leader and that guy has to lead. You understand what I'm saying? It's really that simple. And this is the thing. And my dude, Miles Cunningham, actually made this point on one of my live streams where he was saying that you have, for example, let's say, what's the guy? Donald Trump. That was the president recently, right? And now you have Joe Biden. And before that, before all of that, you had Obama, whoever it is, right? These men were in a leadership position, right? And they had people vote them in, right? But guess what? The people who vote for Donald Trump most likely isn't voting for Joe Biden. You understand what I'm saying? So what happens is that as a man, you have to find the woman who is going to be the type of woman who's going to want you to be their leader. So there are certain people that want to Joe Biden to be their leader, and some people wanted Trump to be their leader. So what happens is that if Trump goes, if he comes across a person who doesn't want him to be the leader, he shouldn't waste time on that person, and vice versa.
You go with them analogies, bro.
So as a man, why should you waste time on a woman who's not wanting you to be her leader? You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of guys waste time on that. So what I tell guys is find the woman who's going to cooperate with you. Find the women who want you to be their leader. And women have to find the guys they want to lead them. You see what I'm saying? And that's where that harmony comes in. But a lot of times what happens is that guys are wasting time trying to get this woman or force them to follow them. And then the women are being like resistant to following this guy. And no, you just find who you want to lead. And then the guys find the women who want to follow. And that's how you actually make the situation go in the direction it should go in. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
Jabrizi Magic writes, where's the profit from the woman though, Lucario? Threw a couple R's in there. I think he like saying it in Spanish. Lucario. That's how we know if it's really pimping. Let my girl go off with Drake. I'm getting the Drake bag out of him.
I agree. Shout out to Jabrizi. I'll be watching the videos, the Magic videos. He's on point. Shout out to that dude right there. But now I agree with him. Again, I'm looking at the long term. I'll tell you guys something. Look at this book right here. I'll show you this book. This book right here, this is my book, How to Have Sex with Women Today.
Let me see how to have sex with women a day. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Now, my wife edited the whole book. You see what I'm saying? Edited the whole book.
Let them know.
You see what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is that there's other things. And so because she edited that and she's helped me with other stuff, my girlfriend's in the chat right now is typing stuff in. So I have a wife and a girlfriend. So my girlfriend, she helps me with the live stream. She puts up the links so people could donate and the money and all that other stuff.
Cool, Lucario.
So what I'm saying to you guys is that you guys is worried about sex and, is your girl messing with another guy and listen, go do your thing. But when it comes to you actually really coming back to what's important and the foundation, I'm the foundation. You understand what I'm saying? I'm the foundation. See, a lot of times guys will say, I heard this other guy say, your girl might get influenced by some other dude. I'm like, no, she's not. Because check this out. Do you think that if a person who's from America, who speaks English, went to go visit China for a week, do you think they're going to come back speaking fluent Chinese? Not at all. You understand what I'm saying? So they're not going to be influenced by Chinese speaking and start speaking Chinese. No, that they've already been accustomed to the American way. You understand what I'm saying? She's accustomed to my way. She's accustomed to me. I'm the source. This is what you guys don't understand.
One hitter quitters, or is she staying consistent with these guys? Now I'm asking because you didn't get the metaphor. Now is she going back to Beijing every week?
Right. So some of them, most of them is just like hooking up type stuff. Now there's certain situations where there's a dude that she's
don't even go into it because to be honest with you, I'm personally disgusted. I don't have any interest. I don't mean I'm disgusted by your situation. I'm disgusted that people are interested in it.
Right. But you know why they're interested in it? Because secretly
they can't do it. They don't want to.
That's what I'm saying. Well, secretly is part of the reason why they're interested. And I'll tell you this. One is fear. Because a person is, this is how you know when you have real game and you know how to navigate. What you can do is I can look at something and be very objective, right? So what most people are doing is they're looking at things and they're like, I couldn't do that. And so now they start to, the fear within themselves starts to hate what another person is doing. You see what I'm saying? They start, then why are you doing what? You understand? I don't care what anybody's doing in their life. You understand what I'm saying? That's you. Enjoy yourself, knock yourself out. What it is that a lot of people, because they have issues within their own situation. Like I said earlier, where the woman, she looks at a certain situation and she doesn't like an insecure guy because that's showing the insecurity within her, whatever, or she likes the confidence because that's showing that something where she wants to be. It's the same thing with most people is that when they see a person talking about certain things or doing a certain thing that they don't do or they don't understand or it feels weird to them, they start seeing the fear is reflected back to them in whatever they're already feeling inside their own selves. So this is why I never really have an issue talking about these things or never upset. It doesn't really upset me or anything like that. The only thing that annoys me is when a person is too ignorant to understand what I'm saying, or they're trying not to understand what I'm saying because they have cognitive dissonance, which I think is disingenuous. But other than that, I'm cool. But the thing is that what people have to understand is that they're so caught up in it, or they're so caught up in the being interested in it, because they secretly in their own situation, right, aren't really dealing with their own stuff. You understand what I'm saying? This is why people love celebrity gossip. This is why people love beef. This is why people love all these other different things, because it's something that they can dive into, but also it's something that they want to latch onto, or to look at, or to comment on, or to feel a certain type of way, because they're reflecting their own feelings and visions and insecurities on that topic. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you there. That's why it's such a, I don't even want to say fascination. It's like kind of a hang up.
Right.
And to me personally, like me, I have no interest in doing what you're doing. I literally have zero interest, almost negative interest,
Right.
which is why I wouldn't even ask you about it, because I have no interest in doing it.
Right.
I also have no interest in stopping you from doing it or promoting it. Like, it just is completely unrelated,
Right.
which is why I'm always telling guys, like, if you're minding someone else's business, your business is not going to make profit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you're trying to figure out what's going on in their business, your business is going to suffer. And as a man, you're a leader of your own affairs. If you admire something, or you can learn something from someone, yeah, figure out, study. But we turn into broads and get concerned, like you said, with the gossip, or be concerned with drama, and we want to dig into things that are immaterial and irrelevant.
Right.
Like, what you're doing is irrelevant to me because I have no interest of doing it.
Right.
It's completely irrelevant. The only time that would pose a threat is if you were my neighbor and your wife is having a great time with life, and I don't want my wife to do that. So now I got to keep my wife away from your wife,
right?
Or I have to marginalize you, or make you look like a fucking weirdo, right? Then
exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what you guys don't realize, is like, it's just wasting energy. But essentially, you're thinking like a broad, and that's no disrespect to anybody. I'm just saying, like, I don't give a shit. It's not my way. It's not the ism. But I also don't give a shit about it. It don't need to be the ism, because you're Mr. Lucario.
Right, because that's the thing. And like you said, because I'm the same way, where there's certain things that other people are into that I'm totally like for example, like with just a person who's monogamous, like I'm totally not into monogamy, because in monogamy, you as a man, you're making a woman hold the keys to your entire sex life. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not into any of that. The thing is that what happens is, when you're in a relationship, there's going to be times where your girl's tired. There's going to be times when your girls don't want to have sex with you. And you're going to...
She's going to take this dick.
She's like, she's going to take this. You're going to have to jerk off. You know,
she gonna get this work. Let me get this catch up real quick. It says, I recently reconnected with a female after us breaking up. Looks like he didn't send the rest of that one, but I wouldn't do it personally. Montravius, since through tuition, truly appreciate it. Lucario, I'm really happy to have you on, man, because you definitely give a fresh alternative perspective. So I'm personally really enjoying this. Joseph comes through on PayPal. He writes, should we as men be providing for and protecting women who are not sexually monogamous to us?
No, if you're in a monogamous relationship, no. It's that simple.
Right. Yeah. Right. Great point.
But this is what I said. Notice in that question arises what I said earlier, when I was talking about how men's insecurity stems directly or indirectly from sex, because guys have put sex on such a pedestal. You see what I'm saying? Because guys think of sex in the concept of ownership of a woman, right? And this is partly why I used to smash girls who have boyfriends and husbands, because I'd love to basically make the point of, you don't own the vagina. Your girl, any girl you're with, can go mess with another dude at any point that she wants to do it. You have no control over it. This is what I always try to tell guys. And again, like I said, when I ask guys, how do you control that? How do you control your women not sleeping with other guys? And the answer always is, you can't. You understand what I'm saying? So until somebody gives me the answer to that, where you can, or shows me how you can, you can't. You see what I mean? And so that's what I try to get these guys to understand.
There's no doubt that no one can control another person. What you can do is find individuals that you're aligned with, which you've obviously, you and your wife are aligned. You know, I definitely have come across a number of females, not many, but a number of them, to where they're like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, and this is what I'm going to live by.
Right.
Well, if they could have the opportunity to get the famous guy or the wealthy guy or step out on somebody, they're not going to do that because they were brought up Amish or, they're from the South and they didn't see 8 generations of their parents and their aunt and uncle and nobody's ever divorced. They're like, hey, I already know how I'm going to go. Those women do exist.
Right.
Now, all the same, nobody's exempt from contempt. You dig? So the day that you done tore your woman down and she need to pick me up and the mailman come through and give her a dick me up and you find out that your lady's been stepping out on you, as a wise and mature, developed man, you should just be able to accept, hey, that's what it is. So I like your emotional intelligence in that you're like, hey, I'm dealing with the reality as I'm seeing it and as I'm living it. And the challenge is like a lot of the guys who are really questioning you on what you're doing, that's more so the personality that you find out your girl's cheating on you and you want to kill the bitch. You heard me? Like, that's kind of on that level. If I find out my girl's 2-time and double time and what have you, my first question like, damn, how I ain't got paid? You're doing all of this and I ain't got paid. You got a problem. You heard me? And the number 2, bitch, you gotta go. You heard me? There's no anger, there's no ill will. It just is what it is. But undoubtedly, I think those who follow me know that, my lifestyle and your lifestyle in that regard are radically different. And I think that's even why it's better that you're on here and you get to speak up on another way of being that's just as valid so that people can see that, so that we don't have a duplication of what I'm thinking. That's the purpose of you coming on here. And this is new information to me, which is quite fascinating and entertaining. You're well in the hot seat, bro.
Right. Nah, that's not. I love it. I love it because it's funny. Somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, you're weird." I'm like, "Yes, I am weird." Because the last thing I ever want to do is not be weird. Because if you're not weird, that means you're normal. You understand what I'm saying? And when you're normal, you're invisible. Listen, you see, look at this. Wait, hold on. Look at this fucking give me the full screen again real quick. Let me show you guys something. Look at this. Hold on. Let me move this way so you guys see this shit. What this shit say right here? Normal people scare me. You understand what I'm saying? That's my shit. Normal people, I don't like normal people. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you're normal, a lot of times you're just going with the crowd. You're going with what everybody else is saying. You're going with the masses. You understand what I'm saying? You're average. You're mediocre. You understand what I'm saying? Like guys like myself, guys like Marquett, and I know a lot of y'all in the chat, y'all not normal. No, there ain't like, regular average, people that are really here understanding this game. You feel what I'm saying? That's the thing. So it's like, you got to, this goes back to what I was saying, is that I teach people to be them. You understand? Be who you are. You understand what I'm saying? Now, again, people don't got to agree with what you're doing. Because listen, just like, for example, you might have a person who's homosexual, a person who I don't agree with some of the stuff.
He didn't went too far. Mr. Lucario went too far.
No, I'm saying, right. Like, I don't necessarily agree with the whole like thing of like certain things that people are doing. Like, I'm not going to be sitting there while you're doing what you do, but do you, that's your life. You feel what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying, where people have to do them. You understand? And be brave enough and confident enough to do them. And that's the problem with a lot of people in society right now. This is the problem why a lot of guys have issues with women. This is the problem why women can't even get what they want in relationships. This is the problem why people can't even strive to succeed to actually get where they want to go in life. This is why people are poor when they want to be rich. This is why people aren't getting the things they want in life, because they're scared to be themselves. They're always worried about what everybody else going to say, what everybody else going to do, what everybody else is doing, but they're not focused on who they are and what they're about and what they need to do for themselves to be happy. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. And that's what I preach, is like, yo, you really got to be who you are. This is because that's the thing that I really liked about you when I first saw your videos. I was like, yo, this dude is being himself to the fullest. He was like, listen, I'm this arrogant, pretty, rich motherfucker. Like, I don't give a fuck what none of y'all saying. I'm gonna let y'all know what I'm doing. I'm gonna let y'all know how I am, and that's it. And that's what I liked about you. I was like, yo, this dude is going in. I was like, this dude's a savage. Like, he's commenting on things and letting people know, like, look, this is what I like about it too, is that I've seen videos where you talked about other, ideas from other content creators and all that other stuff. And you're like, yo, this is how I honestly feel about this. And I'm not afraid to let you know that, hey, I disagree. And that's what I liked about this conversation here. We don't agree on everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a really good thing because it shows that you're not afraid and I'm not afraid and people like us aren't afraid to be themselves. You see what I'm saying? It's okay to be you. It's okay to disagree with people. It's okay to be different. You see what I'm saying? It's okay to not go with the crowd. You see what I mean? And so that's what I want people to get out of this. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, man. Is April your old lady?
Yeah, that's my
she's a writer, man. She's a writer.
April's on point. She's on point. That's April.
Yeah, I agree with that. And especially, in this era with the Kwame Brown and the Charlemagne the God, all this stuff, people are often talking about, black people, this, black men, that, and, we can't go against each other. And growing up in a ruthless place, most of the crime I saw was black on black crime. You heard me?
Right.
And so I always came to the idea of, I don't mess with you because we're alike in skin. I mess with you because we're alike in mind. And one of the things, you know what I'm saying? And one of the things I respect about you is you're a very reasonable man, very intelligent. You definitely have been in this game and you're living off experience. And, that's why I can mess with you. And that's why I have esteem for you. And I'm happy to bring you on the platform. And while I speak of that, people mentioning other folks' names in the chat, don't even bring up other content creators in my chat. I give full permission to the mods to block them because I'm not signing off on nobody unless I didn't signed off on them. I don't want to hear you should collaborate with so-and-so or you should talk to so-and-so. We can just assume there's no respect. Go ahead and reach out to them if they want to do it, fantastic. But otherwise, don't promote people's names in my chat. Because I'm not signing off on that. In terms of Mr. Lucario, I invited him here. He didn't asked to come on here. I invited him here out of respect. And at the end of our conversation, I'm still just as happy that I invited you here because I've been able to sit here and learn. And anytime we talk about relationships, friendships, which we don't talk about enough, we always talk about how to get a bitch, but talking about friendships, especially among men,
right?
How can you be among great men that you admire, that you could learn from? And I just learned a lot from you today. Not even on things I didn't know, even on things I already knew, and how to express it better and how to live it better and why to live it. So I appreciate you coming on here and spreading so much game among the saints and also being man enough to stand up and be who you are and let people know why that is.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you having me on here. Facts, man. I appreciate all y'all coming through, man. Again, like I said, y'all could have been anywhere. Y'all could have been doing anything. Y'all rocking with us. So definitely I want y'all to understand we appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So real talk, real talk.
And is there anything you need to share with the people? Any links, URLs, or anything like that?
Just guys, make sure that you go to badboymembership.com. That is my membership site. And on Bad Boy Membership, I do a 45 through 90-minute audio and video dating advice tutorials every month. So when you join that, you're going to get a different program, step-by-step program every month. And also you can watch my documentary, which is The Game Kings right there. That is the first documentary right there. The first documentary ever on the game. You feel what I'm saying? So that they had American Pimp back in the day, but this one is just strictly about, the game right here. So this is the first one of its kind. So make sure you guys go to Bad Boy Membership to get that for free, or you could go to MrLucario.com if you just want the documentary by itself. You can also get my books, How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day. You can get it at MrLucario.com. Make sure you guys get that over there. You know what I mean? I got the ebook, hard copy, and audio book of this book. You feel what I'm saying? And if you get the hard copy, I send you an autographed copy. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, just check that out. And tomorrow's my birthday. I'm actually gonna be dropping a mixtape because some of y'all don't know I used to rap too. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh, you got bars?
Yeah, I used to rap back in the day. So we go. I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna drop that tomorrow. But me and Marquett got to do a track together because I know he be spitting. So you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So. Yeah. So I'm gonna drop the mixtape. The mixtape gonna be free, so you guys could listen to it on my channel, and I'll have a download link. So if you want to download it and all that other stuff, you know what I'm saying?
We gonna mess around and do a goddamn live concert. Y'all keep playing with us,
right?
Lucario, I appreciate you being here, brother, and sharing the time. We'll make sure we leave this up, and we'll add in the links to your stuff in the description. If you DM that to me, I'll pop that in there.
Yeah.
Saints, it's been a pleasure. Peace to the saints. Until next time.